Mr. DJ.
Hey, check this out. We got a great.
Excuse me, Mr. DJ.
Hey, check this out. We got a great show coming your way.
From the ECSI Sports Studios, it's the Midday Market Report with Jeff Dawson.
Good afternoon, sports fans from all around the globe. I am the co-host, Jeff Dawson, East Coast Sports Investors, and this is your midday market report / closing bell for Tuesday, March 21st, 2023. First time myself and Southside Riley have been back to do a show together. He has taken the reins very nicely and been able to come on when he can to get you guys caught up. But tonight we're going to do a abbreviated, not a big slate, a handful of games that we're going to talk about. At 6 o'clock, set the dial. Brady Cannon at Las Vegas Golfer will be on to break down the match play. Last week, if you were here, he gave out Taylor Moore at 60-1. And I scratch my head because, lots of times we can go down this slate and pick up a handful of names at big prices, but they're common names, the Morikawas and the yada, yadas, names that we know, even throw in a Ricky Fowler, Justin Rose, a Sergio, Jason Day, and all those types. But when you pull out a Taylor Moore, and he was chasing the whole time. And next thing I know, I get a bang from him. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Because Jordan Spieth was the guy all weekend. He was the chalk to win this. And Jordo being Jordo couldn't close the deal. But I need to hear what Southside has to say about the Big Ten. I assume I'll get a hats off on the Purdue and Kansas. He knew I wasn't buying either one of those. We won't talk about those UConn Huskies, Sweet 16. Tough matchup, though. I'm not saying they're walking the park there, but some good talk. I want to hear what he has to say about the Big Ten. So without further ado, let's bring him on, the one and only Mr. Southside Riley. What's up, Riley?
What is up, my friend? Happy Tuesday afternoon. Had to double check my days over here, but no, I am doing solid in the aftermath of the opening weekend of the round of 64 and 32. So, you know what? Yeah, not the greatest showing from the Big Ten as far as ending this 22-3 whatever year drought that we've got going on, but. You know what? It's been a fun weekend as a college basketball fan, all encompassing, and a couple nice wins for the Big Ten for sure, and a couple close losses that I'm sure we'll talk about here in a second. But no, it was a fun weekend. Obviously, I think you and I were both on. Hats off to you for both of them for sure, and I was on. Purdue losing in the round of 32, not the round of 64, but you and I both have been, since the start of the season, kind of pumping the brakes on everyone with Purdue. As good a season as they had. Hats off to them. They were number one seed. But, and as far as Kansas in the round of 32, I think I, from a homer bias perspective, would have said give me Illinois over Kansas. But obviously that one didn't go that way, and Arkansas took them down. And hats off to you as far as, forget Kansas. I mean, you were one of the people talking about Arkansas kind of being that sleeper coming up team. So I don't think either of us predicted it would be a shirts off conclusion for the Must Bus, but no, he's been one of my favorite college coaches in the past few years. So excited that we still got at least one more day of him and beyond, hopefully for their. Wait, is it Arkansas UConn? I'm sorry. Yeah, sorry, never mind. I forgot that was the matchup. No, I forgot that was a matchup. I'll be rooting for you. I think I've got, as far as brackets going, I told you I had your UConn Huskies. I again, biased perspective, beating Illinois in this next round, but either way, you've got a great chance here. Took it to St. Mary's. I mean, you and I were, obviously I kind of took your lead on it, but St. Mary's was a very, very good team. So And I think you and I, as far as hoping out for any UConn hope, we're hoping VCU took down St. Mary's. But obviously, that was a hell of a win. So, but as far as the Big Ten, I was wrong about Michigan State getting out of the first weekend. I don't take back any of my feelings towards what they were all season long, but I'll admit that I was wrong, and I was very firm on them not getting out of the first weekend. So I'm proven wrong there, and now I'll be rooting for them out of the to hold the candle for the Big Ten here, and then. Like I said, the other nice wins, Northwestern and Penn State were a couple teams that had nice wins and then put up really good fights against Texas and UCLA. Thought one of them might have a chance there, and then unless I'm drawing a blank on somebody, Illinois was one of the tougher, uglier showings, and Iowa had caught a hot Auburn team that day. So I think Illinois honestly might have had, unless I'm drawing a blank on, obviously other than Purdue losing to a 16 seed, had maybe one of the toughest showings out of the Big Ten.
I have to say I heard something. It was a jaw dropper, and you know what? How many times did I use? It's that time of year. Izzo's Army. Is it coming? Is it not coming? I heard something on Monday morning, and it just. I will use this for the rest of my life. Okay, I caught this Monday morning on VSiN with Mitch and Paulie. They said, and don't quote me on the exact record, but they said Izzo is like 24-7 in the second round of the tournament. Some stupid number. Yeah. So he goes to his team and says, "You guys go win round 1. I'll win round 2. Don't you worry about that." And it just blew me away. Again, it's go win round 1 when everyone's got 4 days to prepare for you, right? But when you only got 1 day to prepare for me, you ain't beating me. And yeah. I just had to applaud. I'm like, bravo, coach. Bravo, coach.
Yeah, and absolutely. And I don't remember when that the other stat that it kind of has died off, but because I think it finally ended a few years ago. But the trend that he had of every player that ended up playing 4 years going back to I don't know what year made it to a Final Four. So I think that finally that trend ended a couple years ago. And honestly, they had a great team in the COVID year that got stopped short. So maybe that would have been the one to keep it through. But I mean, as much as I didn't believe in this team, I mean they obviously had 2 great days. And they're playing a good team in Kansas State, but obviously a team that also kind of kicked above their coverage this year. So, things are still wide open for them to some degree. So I'm not putting money on them to get out of this, 4 of the teams here in this region, but it wouldn't shock me at this point now.
Shout out to TJ and the U. He's talking about the Canes, and the U takes out Indiana, both men and women. Oh. Start hitting the bricks, he said.
Serious. And I hate that we because you and I think you and I was talking, and I don't think it was me talking by myself, but you and I were talking about looking at Indiana's odds coming out of that region, and it just didn't look like odds that suggested they would have that type of run. And I know a lot of people had them drop in the first game to Kent State, and hats off if you wanted to take that swing. I took a few other swings myself. That were a little lofty, but Miami showed up and looked like the team that was solid all year long. So interested to see what they can do here this upcoming weekend.
You want to talk about shit luck? We do shows all around the year. In the NFL, we were able to give out some in-season futures with the Bengals and the Niners, and then come in before the playoffs started with Super Bowl MVPs to get the best prices to cover our asses. Well, I'd say about 6-7 weeks ago, we gave out Arkansas at 35. Some people got them at 40-1. The must bust. They've been there before. Senior leadership, good guard play. And then we gave out Houston. I said Houston and UCLA are the best teams I thought in the country. And then obviously UConn, where they were 100-1 to start the year. I know no one got that, but a few of the homers. But 14, 16, 18-1. They're all on the damn right side. And the funny thing is, I did 3 brackets, but I always count my first one as the bracket.
Yeah.
And my final 4, Houston, UCLA, Alabama, Tennessee. And when I did Tennessee, I'm just like, nah, because
Yeah.
I knew they could have lost in the first round. I did.
Yeah.
But they're going to be favorites if the next 2 days if they get through. But the sad thing again is I got a UCLA UConn potential, and then a potential UCLA Houston, and I'm just like I can't get because I got no. I didn't buy Kansas, I didn't buy Purdue, and I wasn't buying the chalk and Bama. And Bama can win this. I'm not saying they can't. Okay, but in my eyes, Houston, UCLA, UConn with the must bust way far back in 6-8 weeks ago.
Yeah, and I was and I still have them, and I've been on. Bama was my team, but at odds coming into it, and also the situation that's going on with them, it wasn't worth it, and I 100% agree with that. So as far as my bracket is concerned, and my low stakes, bracket pools, it was all Alabama. That was my, that's who I've got winning it. And then because and you said it, and I agreed with the top part of it, and then the 4th team, I went a little deeper down and thought, maybe, and it still could be the year that we get an 8, 9, 10, 11 seed or something like that going on a run. So I went with that, and I admittedly went with USC out of and in accordance with the Pac-12 always shows up when no one expects it. So. That was what I was going with, and in accordance with my lack of belief in Michigan State. So it was just all a giant pile into this one pick that crashed and burned on, I don't remember if it was Thursday or Friday. So, but again, low stakes bracket pools over here, and I've been I had some success over the weekend though with the actual day-to-day picks and whatnot. And I think I don't remember whatever day the Big Ten had 5 games. I think I had some nice winners there. So sticking with my good Big Ten trends, and then I think I had. Pitt over Iowa State was my other nice winner over the weekend there. So Big 12, obviously kind of up and down, but K-State still staying alive there for them there.
Yeah, and I had a few questions on that. Why was Michigan State 1.5, 2-point favorites? And my take on that matter, very simply, was Michigan State and Izzo is a lightning rod come this time of year. So if they opened up K-State 1.5, 2, they were just going to get blitzed with Michigan State money. Right. So what they try to do is open up Michigan State 1.5, 2 to soften the blow there. It was just go back to Saturday, Duke opening up at 1 versus Tennessee. The whole world's a Duke fan. And so that got shot up to 3.5, 4. Listen, if Duke opened up at 4, they wanted the Tennessee money. But when they opened them up at 1, they wanted the Duke money for a reason. And that's that Vols team that we talked about early in the year. They can play with anyone.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm drawing a blank. They played Louisiana Raging Cajuns first game, and obviously that one was a little tight, a little testy, but they looked awesome in that against Duke. And that's a Duke team that beginning of the season didn't look that fantastic, maybe a tournament team, but certainly wasn't the team that we saw at the end of the season. They were playing really, really well at the end of the season, so an even nicer win there. And as far as to go back to reading those lines from the other day, you got most of the world that pays attention to ATS numbers, whatever Rick Barnes is in the tournament against the number, helping you out with that one as well. So I'm interested to see how things go with that one against FAU. Obviously, probably not a lot of people are going to be believing in FAU, kind of sneaking by, getting through Memphis, and then obviously getting Fairleigh Dickinson there. So no, it should be some good games. I am really excited here for the weekend games, and then. I guess some of the bigger spreads are on Friday night. The Thursday night ones are the close ones right now.
Anything stick out to you before we move on?
That's a good question. I guess I don't know. Did you feel like Texas -4 over Xavier was a kind of a Texas number there?
I talked Xavier getting a 3 I thought was a joke, and Kennesaw State should have beat them. Xavier was very fortunate. Then Xavier kind of flexed its muscles over the weekend on Sunday. This is a Texas team that can cut the nets down. There's no doubt about it. They can play with anyone. I thought it was a neutral number. A couple of these, you talked about Tennessee too. I can see Texas winning and not covering. I can see Tennessee winning and not covering. And so you're kind of in that catch-22 where their numbers are so short. you're supposed to play the team that you think's going to win the game and then hope that they cover. When you get to this neck of the
Yeah.
woods. Now, I'm not saying that's how you handicap, guys, but the fact of the matter is, it's not an easy pill to swallow. For instance, if who was 3.5? UConn's 3.5. They opened at 4. It's 3.5 against Arkansas. So you got that square peg round hole. If you think UConn's going to win and not cover,
Right.
you only got 3 swings there, 1, 2, and 3.
Right. No, and it's obviously it's obviously that's the game we play every day. But I don't know any faith in you've got on Friday Houston and Alabama both 7.5. Any faith that one of those teams could cover or win San Diego State or Miami?
I've been high on San Diego State all year. Yeah. I think defensively, they lock up with I think the under over, but I know it's a Bama team, but that's an Alabama number. I could just see Alabama coming out with one of those 11-2 starts, and San Diego State can't play the chase game there. And then you look at the U in Houston. Listen, hats off to TJ. Great season, great weekend. I am, listen, watching this damn Houston team. I said it with Pops earlier today. It's like men playing with boys. I'm looking at these guys and I'm like, how old are some of these guys? I'm like, holy shit.
And in this case, the first 2 games kind of felt like they were – I didn't watch as much of the Northern Kentucky game, the 1 versus 16 game, but watch more of the Auburn. Kind of just playing with their food a little bit through 25, 30 minutes. And then, like you said, showing up for the last 10 minutes and leaving no doubt at the end of it. So I have to imagine they're feeling pretty solid here.
Yeah, and I use this because I got a call from Montana the other day asking me what's up with this Houston team. And I said, it's very simple. And TJ said the second half from Houston was boss. Here's what Houston does. They play grab ass in the first half and kick ass in the second half. They take no prisoners. They're like, all right, let's break a sweat in the first half. Let's get our asses chewed out by Calvin at halftime. And then let's just play lockdown D. And then let's just get the hell out of Dodge.
Yep. Yeah, no, that's the way it goes. I'm looking to see if any, any love for Princeton against Creighton, or I know everyone is starting to, as much as everyone's loving the Cinderella story, Creighton with the statement over Baylor. I think you and I were on the same page. If it was mid-January, I think both of us probably would have had Baylor making at least the Final Four run, but they did not look like the same team these last couple months here.
Truth be told, over in the Arizona Princeton game, our numbers were 10 points off, and Arizona just pulled the no-show. Yeah. Then the Princeton-Missouri game, we had Missouri team total over. Missouri pulled the no-show. So this Princeton must be playing like that amoeba defense or something, because no one can score on them. Yet that line's at 10 for a reason. And when I talked about Creighton all year, I said on these shows, I think they are made for a big run here, and they get set up with Princeton here, so they could end up in the Elite Eight. While UConn's going to try to muscle through the must bus, and Arkansas to get to the Elite Eight. But you know what? Arizona couldn't score on them. Missouri couldn't score on them, and this will be the game that Creighton puts up 85 on them.
Yeah. No, I it does seem like it's probably the end of the road. We don't have to look it up, but has a 15 ever gotten to the Elite Eight? I know it's gotten to the Sweet 16.
That Kent State team that was like a 13 a few years back, maybe. What was St. Peter's, a 9?
Oh yeah, St. Peter's was a 15. Never mind. What am I talking about? They made it to the Elite Eight last year, right?
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Well, then there's my answer immediately. So I forgot about them. Yeah. I was just thinking about St. Peter's in a different conversation. But anyways, let's move on to. We haven't talked too much about NIT. We've got 2 games tonight, down to the quarterfinals for those who haven't been paying attention. solid games if you're looking for some action. North Texas against OK State. This one is at OK State. OK State minus 3.5, 4. I think OK State was they are a 1 seed. I can't remember if they were the number 1 seed of the tournament or not. And then Wisconsin and Oregon. Both these numbers are coming down from what they opened at. Am I correct with that?
Yeah, I had an overnight number of 5 and a 123 for Okie State in North Texas. Now at Circa is a 4 with a 121. There are some 3.5s. And then Wisconsin, Oregon, I had a 4.5 with a 134. At Circa 3 at a 131.5. There's a 2.5 at DraftKings. So money coming in on both dogs today.
Yeah, it is interesting, and I'm just trying to figure out what we've got going on with with both of these teams here. OK State, I mean, playing fairly well here in the tournament, but it wouldn't surprise me if this is the time for them to drop one here. What about you?
Ken Palm has 64-61. Okie State. Here's what I'll say. I don't like following the numbers. But if this was January, you would say Okie State would be 7-point favorites against North Texas.
Yeah.
And then Oregon at home against Wisconsin would be about a 7 or 8 point because there's no way they can stay up with them. If I had to go on record and say one of the two dogs win, for some reason, I'll take your Badgers. How's that sound?
I think I'm with you. Yeah, and you look at it, and Oregon's been playing. I think Oregon's been playing really well these two games in the tournament, winning fairly easily. So the fact that they're a home team and it's down to 2.5. I think I'm with you. And Oklahoma State, maybe it was easy. I think they were the favorite to win everything, but I did like them coming into this tournament here. Thought Wisconsin might have had a tough road, and they've obviously played well, but I'll follow with you obviously with the Big Ten pick and with Wisconsin, and I'll stick with my OK State. How about that?
There you go.
All right, NBA tonight, Washington and Orlando, 32-39 Washington, 29-43 Orlando. Both these teams are on the outside of the play-in tournament looking in. Orlando outside chance, but still 5.5 out with 10 or so games to play, so they got to go on a run, obviously. But Washington only 2 games behind my Bulls in that 10 spot there, so they're obviously still trying to get, presumably still trying to get into that jump there. But I'm seeing a differing across the market here. I see a couple minus ones for Washington, and then I'm seeing a bunch of minus ones in Orlando's favor here.
Yeah, I had a 1.5 with a 226. DraftKings now has Washington -1. Circa's got it a pick. Bet Online has Orlando 1. So it depends upon where you're shopping. You can get Washington -1 and you can get Orlando -1. You can even get a pick in some spots. So I'm going to say the consensus number right now is a pick.
Yeah, no, I'm with you in this one, and I think that's fair. This one's kind of both these teams. Neither of them are playing that well at the moment right now. This is about if you had a coin flip game, this would probably be the one right here, honestly. And Orlando's been one of my most successful teams on the spread this season, so I'm at a point where unless I see something that's slapping me in the face, and I took their team total over, so I'm sitting pretty and thanking the Orlando Magic for the most part here. Maybe we'll see them one more time before the season's ends, but they've done me my service for the year. That's where I'm at with them.
I agree. All right, they
Cleveland
have the Rookie of the Year, right?
I do. I've got Paolo Banchero. I had. I don't think I quite got 2-1, but I basically needed to see the first week, and that was all I needed to see. And I've got some. Had a couple others there, but yeah, I do. I'm glad you reminded that because I do have that there. NBA TV game tonight. Cleveland at Brooklyn. Cleveland -4 on the road in Brooklyn. Brooklyn has lost 3 straight. Cleveland has won 3 of their last 4. Jared Allen, looks like it's questionable, but I think that might be old information from yesterday. So I think he should be fine. Cleveland's got a couple days off here. Brooklyn playing on 1 day of rest. This one, if I had to say there was a smelly line in the NBA, this one probably would have been my best choice, and it seems like a Nets number here.
It does. It does. I had a 3 with the 218. Now 4s across the board, even a touch of a 4.5. I mean, Vegas is saying 111, 107. So check your team totals there. If Cleveland's at 111.5 or 110.5. But this one does smell because I correlate it with the Celtics and Sacramento. The Celtics were 3.5 with the 238.5. It's 5s everywhere. So I'll go on record that says either the Nets or the Kings, one of those two home teams win and the other loses. But I think most people will be on Cleveland and Sacramento tonight, which means it's probably a Nets and Celtics night.
Yeah, no, I couldn't have said that any better. And that's not any. That's the 2 NBA TV games. So both the NBA TV games, of course, there. So any other thoughts? Just to touch on, might as well tie in with the Celtics and Kings there. 239 on the total. I haven't been paying attention to these totals as much lately. Thinking November 25th. 122 to 104 Boston win, and it was a 238.5, and now we're still right back at 239.5. Think we're going over tonight?
I would take the over, grab some popcorn, a nice cold one, and just enjoy, an up and down. I will tell anyone that's not a local, the Jaylen Brown piece yesterday in the New York Post, what the locals are saying, he's not happy. He's bringing up the Boston and the part of the fan base, and I'm not going to get into details. I will say this. I'm sticking to my source. He was traded for Kevin Durant the night of that Wednesday night. He was going to get traded. He got elbowed in the face by Tatum, taken off the court. And 4 hours later, KD was heading over to Phoenix. And he's not happy here. I know if he made the all NBA team, he would be able to get the Supermax here. He's not going to be able to. He's not going to make, even though he's had a great year.
Yeah.
But keep an eyes and ears on, I don't know the contract situation, but I think the Celtics will get ahead of this if this really starts to come to a head, maybe in the offseason. But we'll see what happens.
Yeah. No, I'm glad you mentioned it. It's something to monitor, honestly. We'll see what happens. Once March Madness, the smoke clears, we're shifted into NBA and NHL playoffs. So, sneaking back over to let's see where this team is. So we've got Detroit and Atlanta. Atlanta in the 8th seed right now. In out east, 3 games behind the Heat for 7, 4 behind Brooklyn for 6. Just a half a game ahead of Toronto and 1 game ahead of the Bulls. So 8, 9, 10. Is jumbled up there and getting a little bit of breathing room with Washington and Indy not playing as well as they had been. But Atlanta minus 13.5. This certainly is not at a point where we're have been diving into these Pistons number and the go number there. Feel confident enough that this is an Atlanta number, or is this just a hard stay away? I'm seeing DeJounte Murray is out of this one for Atlanta.
Listen, Atlanta shouldn't be favored by 13 over anyone. I don't care if you and I are suiting up. Vegas making a statement. They don't want to get hurt on the Atlanta side. You and I have had some good eyes on the Pistons. OKC, yeah. It's funny. OKC, I think, is the number 1 team against the spread for profit this year. And we've been talking about them for a while, and we'll get to them in a minute. It's an Atlanta number to me. I would never lay it. If you Venmo'd me 50, I'd Venmo you 100 back and tell you to take the bride out for a pizza. No thanks.
Yeah, 100. It's another team that I think they might be a negative team against the spread, but I've had good licks with the Pistons. You and I both, as far as those single digit numbers and picking them off. I would actually be willing to guess that I track all my picks, but I haven't gone through and looked at each. I would be willing to guess that the Pistons for me have been as profitable as any team, including the Thunder there and the Magic. So another team that I give my hats off to. I was wrong about them in the preseason. I thought they'd be better than this because I like Kate Cunningham and Jaden Ivey that much, but obviously tankathon. So. And they are right there still with the old Spurs and Rockets. So it'll be interesting to see where the chips fall. But as it always does, as much as everyone still loves Wemby, there's obviously a couple more now that you get into that top three and you're feeling pretty good, not just the number one there. So kudos to these three teams for I guess kudos if you don't hate taking. If you hate taking, then obviously you're not giving kudos. The other tanking team tonight, 13.5-point dogs at New Orleans. I don't know about you, but tying these all together here, wouldn't surprise me if we've got one of these two ugly teams, the Pistons or Spurs, finding a way to pull one of these out. But I'm not going to go ahead and put my money on it. I'll just kind of give a passive thought on that one. Keldon Johnson is out for the Spurs, so that usually keeps me far away from them anytime I have any inkling of interest for him. That he's obviously massive for their offense there. But the Spurs did just win the other day there, so I'll stay away from them. I don't know. Any thoughts on this one? Feeling good about the Pelicans taking care of business, or you think this one could get ugly?
Well, my true number was 11.5 with the 234.5. As you said, it's 13.5 now with the 231.5. So some movement on the Pelicans and the under. Thanks, but no thanks. But again, if you're just looking strictly at the numbers and not following the moves, I would lean the Spurs, which probably means the Pelicans win by 20. And, the Hawks win. It was 238.5, now 236.5, and the Hawks win, 118, 111 or something stupid like that. But I would lean Spurs just because of the move, which, like I said, I would not play. Listen, guys, the NBA right now, you got 10 games left. You're better off playing. You get a better bang for your buck in the NIT, the CIB, the March Madness. You can even go over USA and Japan tonight. Hockey team total. In other words, just you made it. Let's just get to the damn playoffs, right?
Yep.
Get to the playoffs.
Right, we're out here thanking the teams that did us well. The Thunder, the Magic. You are right. The Thunder and not new information, but the Thunder are 62%, couple percentage better than the next closest team there. So, and kudos to us. I'll go back and see what we had for Pistons numbers, because I think anytime I was on the Pistons, you were endorsing it, if not giving me the advice. So, because they were about 43%, but I'll stand by. They are among my most profitable teams on the season here this year. So, speaking of the other team though, to thank and see what we've got tonight. Thunder at the Clippers, 7-point spread in LA. Thunder playing better once again here. They've won 4 of their last 5. The Clippers at least here. All I'm seeing is the last 5, so I know they each have won 4 of their last 5. Thunder won 2 games in this matchup all the way back in late October. I can't remember what the if there was injury situations with the Clippers or not, but looks like Kawhi and Paul George are fine tonight as of right now. It looks like SGA, Lou Dort, everybody looks to be good for the Thunder there. Feeling like at this point, especially with how good the Thunder have been, feeling like this is a Clippers number here at 7?
I thought it was more of a Thunder number. I had a 236.5 with a 7. It's now 6.5 with a 237.5. So again, I don't want to follow the numbers. My true number was 7. It is now 6.5. I'll use the 236.5. Vegas is saying 2013. Nope. 21-14. They're basically saying 121-114. Clippers. What's the team total on the Clippers?
Clippers team total is Clippers 122.5.
All right, so 122.5. So, and they're betting. It went to 237.5 in climate. 22.5. And what did they give you for OKC?
Looks
14?
what a lot of it's kind of split. You either get 115.5 or you could pay about minus 125 for 114.5.
OKC team total under is the play on this game.
Fair enough. No, like I said, we've had our wins with OKC. These two teams. As far as playoff picture, you've got the Thunder barely hanging on to the 9 and 10 seed right now. Clippers in that 5 seed. So this one could be good. This is a bigger game than we're kind of leading on here. The Thunder need if the Thunder want to stay in that play-in spot. This next stretch here, they've got the Lakers at 11, half game behind them, and New Orleans behind them. So. It's these games are tough to call, obviously, and this is a late one. So, I'll follow your lead. I don't know where I'm at with the Clipper and Thunder here. I'm waiting for the Clippers in the playoffs, and I've gotten my money with the Thunder, so I'm happy with them this year.
I agree. They've been a good year. Good story.
Alrighty. Anything else? That is all I got for the NBA and the NIT. Anything out of the old hockey sticks?
There's a big slate here, guys. Grab your pen and pencils. I'll move over to this desk. I'll give you some team totals to take a look at. Alrighty. See if we can find you some gems here. Team totals tonight in the NHL. New Jersey Devils over 3.5 plus 110. This looks like the setup of the night, but I'll throw it out there. Panthers team total over 3.5. That's minus 120. Here's a nice juicy nugget for you. Rangers team total over 3.5 plus 145. Toronto team total over 3.5 plus 145. St. Louis team total over 3.5 plus 100. Dallas team total over 3.5 plus 100. The shocker of the night. Vancouver Canucks team total over 3.5 plus 140. And this one's too steep, but they got us good last night. We had Calgary team total over, and they gave up 4 goals in the first against the Kings. Take a look at Calgary first period minus the hook against the Ducks, and they'll score 4 or more tonight. The Rats, you watch that. They'll take care of business there.
Sounds good to me, my friend. This was a nice, good, short and sweet one with the short board and getting our thoughts from the weekend out. So I am glad we got to get back together and get our thoughts down. And I've got nothing else as far as today is concerned. So I'll kick it back to you, my friend.
At 6 o'clock in 27 minutes, Brady Cannon, Las Vegas golfer, will be on again. Last week at this time, gave out Taylor Moore as one of his selections. Ended up winning at 60-1. He's going to break down the match play, which is a whole different another breed. Excited and interested to see how he breaks that card down. Tomorrow, 1 o'clock, Andrew McGinnis live from Florida. That's right. Nice. He has crossed our border and he is in Florida for the week. He'll be in Orlando. Myself and Riley will be back the rest of the week, 4:35. We'll figure it out. Thursday, it looks like Julian Edlow at 9:30 a.m. from DraftKings, John Mergers at 10:30. And we might have one other guest. I'm drawing a brain cramp over here. Friday, it looks like we're going to get the 3 men in a box talking college baseball with Johnny TV and Matt Grissom. At 7 o'clock tonight is Scott Webb and myself, 7:15 probably, talking WBC and MLB as we're about a week away. Next week we'll be talking MLB, baby.
That's crazy. I cannot believe it's coming up that quick.
I can't wait. So it's so great to come back. If you're not following us, please do. Thanks all the people watching. Shout out to TJ as always. Go you. Follow me at EC Sports Invest. Please follow Riley at Riley_Magnuson, the one. And we'll be back in less than a half hour. Go grab yourself a cold one, throw something in the microwave, and we'll see you soon.